Welcome back to the community, everybody, and thanks for being part of it. Today, what we are going to do is remove the oil pressure relief system screws. And when we do replace them, we're going to use these. So they're much easier to get out next time if need be. I switched to the Allen heads on the first engine that I redid, that I did a mild rebuild on. But a few people commented and said, can you show removing them? So today we're going to show removing these screws that can be real buggers to try to get out. So let's go ahead and show that and show what's inside and what comes apart and the method that I use to get them out. A lot of people use air chisels. I don't do that. So let's take a look. Now the first thing that I like to do is spray a little PB Blast around them. Make sure there's no dirt around the screws, which I see there is. So let me get that out of there. Believe it or not, I pressure washed this. I don't know why there was still dirt in here, but I still got to finish cleaning it up. So, okay, enough complaining. I like spraying a little PB around the edge, and hopefully it helps a little bit. A lot of people will take an air hammer and put the edge here and try to spin them loose. I really don't like doing that if I don't have to. So what I'm going to do first is tap it with a screwdriver and see if it loosens. If not, then I'll go to plan B, which usually works for me. So let's give it a try here. Here's the big screwdriver. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, if it wouldn't have worked, and we'll take it out, I'll show you what's inside of there, is I'll use vice grips, not channel locks, vice grips. And I will loosen them to the point where it's almost effortless to squeeze and then tighten it a bit. I've got too much PB on there. But what I did before is cranked the vice grips on and broke them loose. And it gives you an advantage of also tapping with a hammer here to break it loose. So, all right, this is the front of the engine, which would be the rear of the car where the crank pulley's at. Okay, so let's take that out. You in the camera view? Here, I don't like that position. There we go. So let's take this out. Maybe the back one will be stubborn, but when they are, you can get them out with the vice grips like I do. Okay, you're gonna have a little washer on here. Don't lose that, although you do want to replace it with a new one. Don't put these back on. Get the ones with the Allen heads. I can assure you they are much, much better and easier to work with, okay? We have our spring. There's a longer spring at the front, which would be the rear of the car, all right? So we'll end up cleaning that up. And let me get my little magnet. I always forget something. Let's get our plunger out. Sometimes these are stubborn. It's trying. It's almost there. Come on. And come on. My magnet is not very strong. I think it was actually a dollar store magnet. There we go. So, let me wipe it off a minute here. That is what it looks like. Okay, now before you put the new one in, you know, or this one back in after you clean or do whatever reason you're taking this out, take a green Scotch-Brite pad like you see here and just spin it around it. Clean this up real nice. Do not, please do not use any type of sandpaper, emery cloth, wire wheel, nothing. This has to be at an exact circumference because of the way it holds oil pressure when it goes up and down in here. So let's go ahead and put that aside and let's try to get to the back one. Okay, now I took this off the engine stand because the yoke was covering the screw. So I'm going to have to try to manangle this. I don't know if that's a word, on the workbench. I could have swore I had this on an engine stand with my last block when I loosened them, but who knows, probably forgetting something. But let's try this side now. This one might be a little stubborn. Okay, so I don't know, I highly doubt if, no. Okay, now let me see, but I gotta move the camera. Okay, let me see if I can work around the camera. I don't know. Oh, I just don't want to grab. Might have to get a different pair of vice grips. Okay, I don't know how well they'll stay on there. I've got a few pair and I can't remember which I used last time. So what we're going to do, we clamp them onto the head of the screw. We're going to just gently tap. Don't come in and whack like a nut job because you're going to pop them right off, or they may pop off. See what I mean? Let's try this pair. If I wasn't filming, I guarantee you it would have been done already, but that's how it works. Okay. Let's see here. Nope, too tight. A little more. Ah, it's a pain, trust me. But once you get them on tight and break it loose, you'll be happy. A little more. Don't pinch your hand in here. I know on one, when I had trouble, I took my file and I fouled a little even spot in there so the vice grips can grab. Let me get a different set. I think I'm missing, I bet you I loaned them to somebody. I had another set that actually grabbed a little better. They were curved, and I'm not seeing them here, so that means somebody got them. Let me get this locked on. I think that's going to pop off, I could tell. Yep. All right. Let me get a different pair. Wait 1 second. Okay, I got a bigger pair of vice grips. I just got to get them to lock on. If they don't, then what I'm going to do, there we go. Well, let me show you first. Whoop, I got the camera too close. There we go. I'll get behind the camera. Whoop, wait, I think it broke loose. I think it broke loose. I think it broke loose. Yep, it did. Okay, there we go. Okay, let me readjust the camera. Alrighty. So the vice grip method has come through again. Yes. Okay, now there's a different spring in this one. This would be the rear of the motor where the flywheel is. Okay. So, like I said, you're gonna wanna replace them with the Allen head style. Then you just put a, I think it's a 6mm Allen head socket in and zip, take them right out. Like that noise? Zip. Okay, we have a spring. Now look, let me get the other one. Let me try to cup them in my hand. See the two different size springs? Here, we'll set them here. See that? I'm trying to show you. We'll do this. See? The shorter spring goes to the back where the flywheel is. The longer spring goes to the front where the back of the car is, the crank pulley. So take your shorter spring out that is next to the flywheel, so to speak, and let's get our plunger. Let's go fishing. Sometimes I need a better magnet, plain and simple. And there it is. There's your little plunger for the back. Now, this plunger, again, like I said, wipe it off, clean it real good. You can use like a very mild, like green Scotch-Brite pad to clean it off, okay? It just looks like a little piston. There's a hole on the one side, you know, for the spring. But this has to have a certain amount of friction going up and down inside of here. So if you sand this or wire wheel it, you're going to lose oil pressure. Okay, so clean it up the best you could without using anything harsh on it. Okay, so let's go over something a minute here. Okay, remember two things. One, you can use these. However, if you buy the Allen head ones, you will never have an issue. What happens here is the heat and everything gets so tight. I'm not putting down German engineering because I think they're one of the best there are. However, they shouldn't have used a slotted screw head, okay? I know mine, probably my one looked a little tough to get off, but that was actually easy. Truthfully, I should have been here a half hour fighting with them, so I got lucky. So buy the Allen head ones. You'll be happy that you did. Texas Air Cold is where I bought mine last time. So, and I'm sure there's quite a few places that have them. Keep your pistons organized, cleaned up, clean them and polish them real nice, but don't take no material off of them. You'll lose oil pressure. Large spring to the front of the car where to the back of the car where the crank pulley is, which would be the front of the engine. I know. The short spring, just remember the short spring goes in the flywheel end, and that'll make things easy for you. So I hope that helped a few people out. A few folks had said something before about I didn't show remove them on the one video. So now I did. All right, so I hope that helped a few people out. Remember also, like I said, you can take a file and file on each side of these two flat spots, and that way you can put a pair of vice grips on to break them loose. Any questions, leave them in the comments. And thank you for being here. I hope everybody had a great Friday and a wonderful upcoming weekend. And I'll see you next week.